I'm having a hard time understanding where this significant increase is coming into play. I believe it to be almost a $500 increase. I don't consent to this.
Well, you don't have to.
How do we help me not be out of house and home to where I cannot pay anybody anything?
Objection to a support review. I'll start with Ms. Evan. Ms. Evan, what's the front of the court's, what's the status of the matter, I guess, on the objection?
Okay, the support recommendation went out with an effective date of June 1st with Mr. Guzman paying $805 child support, $29 ordinary medical. I also configured birth expense at $25 a month for a total of $859. Mr. Guzman did not provide the court with any information as to his income, so I found that income on the quarterly wage reporting for the 4 quarters last year.
All right. What's support currently billing at?
Support is currently billing $366 per month.
Sir, you filed the objection?
Yes, I did.
All right. Why is that?
Well, I'm having a hard time understanding where this significant increase is coming into play. I believe it to be almost a $500 increase. Can somebody please explain to me where that is coming from? Because I'm looking over the formulas here and I don't quite understand it. Is it due to medical expenses or?
No. So support was reviewed. It's reviewed every 3 years. And so Ms. Evan, what income was used for Mr. Guzman back in when the previous order was run? It looks like it was back in 2019 or 2020. Well, she's looking that up. Just so you both know, overnights with the child and income are the 2 major factors in child support. Okay. And you didn't submit your income, your current income, but she does have a resource online where she can find that. It's not always 100%. It wouldn't be as accurate as if you had responded to the paperwork that you got in the mail with the request for your income. So is there a good reason why you didn't return that?
That was just complete carelessness on my behalf, completely misplaced it. I would have totally followed up on it. Should have, but
Okay.
I don't have.
She had to dig around online on some resources the front of the court has to find income for parties that have child support cases. And first we'll hear what she has to say about your previous income, so then we can compare it to your current income, and maybe that'll explain what the difference in the recommendation is, because like I said, income and overnights are the 2 major factors.
So the PA's office used income from Denison Automation, $12.50 an hour at 40 hours a week. That would have been $2,175 a month.
All right, and that was in 2019 or 2020?
That was in 2020, probably the end of 2019 when they ran it. Yeah, October of 19.
All right, and what income did you currently use for Mr. Guzman then?
I used quarters 1 through 4 of 2022, and that totaled $63,968.28. So I divided that by 12 for the monthly income of $5,330.69.
All right, so about 3,200 more than you were making last time support was run, sir. That's going to be a big factor in the amount of support that's recommended. And that was in 2023. Is that income accurate?
Yes, it is.
All right. And just a quick calculation I did here while she was doing that. The 366 that you were paying for the last 3 years was about 17% of your gross income. The 859 is about 16% of your gross income now. So it's pretty close, actually a little bit less of a percentage of your income. Have your overnights changed? I don't think that any overnights were used in the previous calculation. Do you have any parenting time?
I have absolutely none.
Oh, why not?
Oh, that's a long story, and I thought we were talking about support here.
Well, we are, but like I said, overnights are a big factor. So if you don't have any overnights, then it doesn't offset any support. For every overnight you have, your support goes down a little bit. Used to be about 10 years ago, you didn't get a break until you hit 128 overnights, and then the bottom fell right out of the support. And They made it more equitable about 10 years ago or so that every overnight counts a little bit. So it works up to that. So that's the only reason I ask about parenting time. You know, if you don't have any overnights, you don't have them. They can't put any in if you don't have them. So your increased income and the 0 overnights are the 2 major factors in your support being set and the amount that it is or recommended.
Okay. All right. So do I have the floor? Can I speak for a moment?
Yeah, go ahead, sir. What do you want to say?
All right. So right now I'm making a total monthly income of $3,100 net take home. I have a rent of $1,511. I have a truck payment of $350. All 3 amenities, electric, gas, water, that's equating to $320. I have a 55-mile round trip daily, I'm sorry, to and from work. At the end of the month, that leaves me with about $620 for food, clothes, medical expenses, and anything else I need to get by in this economy. That's nothing. That's scraping bottom of the barrel. I can't even afford to keep clothes on my son's back that I have sole custody of. That's where I'm at right now. This extra $500, I cannot pay. I will be out of a home and out of a job in the first month, and then nobody will be getting money. Absolutely nothing. That's where I'm at. I'm sorry to say that. I mean, I can offer to do a small percentage, but I cannot afford that. I cannot. I can barely keep gas in my vehicle. I don't know how we can find a common ground here, but something has to happen because nobody can afford to live right now. And I'm not even living. I'm just surviving. Go ahead. Somebody else can take the floor.
Ma'am, anything you want to say?
No, I was just itching. I was just moving my hair. Sorry.
Oh, all right. So sir, you said you have custody of a child. You get child support for that child?
I gained sole custody about 1.5 years ago. I have received 2 separate payments in the past year. I believe one in March and one in April of $600. I don't know what the state has set in place as far as their guidelines for support on him, but those are the only payments I've received, and I haven't dug into it. I haven't called my caseworker. I haven't asked for $1. Haven't tried.
All right. Well, if money's tight, or if you anticipate money being tight, having that obligation enforced might be one place to start. Do you live alone with your child, or does anybody else live there?
I have a significant other.
Okay. Does that person work?
Yes, she does.
Okay. So we don't use her income in computing your support, obviously, but if you've got a rental payment and electric, gas, and water, and things that benefit both of you, then you should both be contributing to that. So that's not solely your expense. I would assume if she lives with you that she chips in for the rent and the expenses associated with the home, utilities. So it's not truly credible to say if your rent is $1,511 that you're solely responsible for that. Same with the electric, gas, and water, right?
Those are my obligations.
Okay, but if you have another wage earner in the house, she could be contributing to those obligations.
We have plenty of them.
Well, I know.
We have three children.
And raising children 100% of the time without any time away, being solely responsible for food, clothing, shelter, and all that kind of thing for a child is pretty expensive. My next question is, when did your wage increase from $12.50 an hour up to the $64,000 that you make now per year?
Oh, that started when I started my employment with Evoqua Water Technologies in 2019, March of 2019. I started off there at $17.50 an hour. So I've received $9 in raises in the last 3 years with that company. That right there alone has barely kept up with inflation.
All right.
Barely.
But your last support obligation was based on $12.50 an hour, not even the $17 an hour. So I don't know where that came from, but you've been paying a lesser amount of support for 3 or 4 years now than maybe what you ought to have been paying.
Okay. So what can I do, or can we find a common ground here? How do we help me not be out of house and home to where I cannot pay anybody anything.
Well, I don't think that's the case, because you've got another wage earner in the house and you've been paying a lesser amount of support for 3 or 4 years than what you should have been paying based on your income. Now, the friend of the court only looks at them every 3 years. So I don't really, I'm not really putting any credibility into your argument that you can't afford this. You're making almost 3 times as much as you were back then. The support obligation is going up about 2.5 times, and it's a lesser percentage of your income. The expenses you've outlined, which while we don't necessarily lower support based on expenses, because you can control those. You can control your housing payment, your truck payment. Those aren't solely yours. You have another wage earner in the house that either is or should be contributing to that. So I'm gonna dismiss the objection. Support would be effective June 1st, 2023, in the amount recommended by friend of the court. Is there anything else?
I don't consent to this.
Well, you don't have to. An order will be entered. It'll have language at the bottom on how you can object within 21 days of receiving that recommendation. If you do object, then the matter will be set for further proceedings with the judge.
Understood.
All right, we're all set.